corporate firms attempt to take over YouTube and squeeze out the small independent content creators, the clear alternatives are alt-tech sites such as YouTube and BitChute. The alternative to Facebook is Minds, www.minds.com.
So I would caution people, if you are building a net-based presence and you're putting yourself out there, you're making videos, you post on Twitter a lot, or you have an Instagram or something, you need to think seriously about getting onto alt-tech, because it is the wave of the next stage of the internet. It will continue to grow. There's a huge vacuum right now being created by the demise of some big tech firms, the mistakes that they're making. See, the problem is the big tech firms have begun to try to destroy their smaller competitors. Now, the reason for doing this, I'm going to tell you another secret. The reason they're doing this is economic, because they realize that they're actually capable of competing for the same audience, for the time used, for people using the platform, and they're worried right now. Facebook is worried about Minds. They clearly are. Google probably is too, because it still probably wants to do the social media thing like the G+ that failed. That's the reason. Twitter is worried about Gab. They're worried because their stock is collapsing, their user base is beginning to migrate away. They don't have any sense of morality. Facebook doesn't care what you say on their platform ultimately. They have no moral goal in it. Their goal is money. It becomes inconvenient for them when somebody starts saying offensive things on their platform, because right now a lot of people are easily offended because there's a moral panic going on. Free speech platforms, therefore, are rising up, and they're going to keep rising up for some time to come. By the time the moral panic ends, they'll be far larger, far more powerful. At least some of them, those that persist. Others that are alt-tech, Minds is certainly alt-tech, and competes directly now with Facebook. It is growing. I think my opinion is that YouTube will persist for a very long time. I don't think Google's going anywhere, but it will have to transform itself. It will have to probably temper the moral panic side of things, and eventually it'll get to a point as the paradigm reverses. And they'll say, okay, enough is enough of the censorship stuff. We've realized that it's better to have a public debate. They'll come out and they'll say that at some point. It'll be good. And by the way, faith in the product restored. That's a good thing on the capitalistic end too. You're protecting free expression. The reason I started using Gab is because Twitter consistently loses money, is losing its audience, might stop existing at some point. I want to have another platform that I'm on that's comparable to the same service that I'm already using and which I enjoy using. Minds, it's basically the new Facebook. It is. Ultimately, Minds is a more coherent version of dumbed down post-timeline era Facebook. As Zuckerberg continues to ram Facebook into the ground and up his ass, there could come a time at which Facebook stops being a dynamic, usable service and goes the way of MySpace. So I figured, well, I want something that's comparable to it. I want to learn how to use it, and I want to build up a presence there, because I don't know that Facebook's still going to be there in 5-10 years. Moral panic will wane. Alt-tech will get stronger, and they're creating an alliance right now. These upstart firms are attempting to create a pro-liberty alliance, and they'll provide their own hosting, and they'll provide other services and goods, and they will continue to grow and diversify, and other companies will join them. And pretty soon you're going to see sort of the older mainstream firms, the smaller competitors of the bigger tech firms, they'll be joining them because they'll realize where the party's at. And it'll work, and it'll decentralize the internet probably forever. It'll be unrecognizable in 20 years. The internet in 20 years, assuming it hasn't been completely replaced by some other platform, which I don't know if that'll happen in that time scale, will look totally different. It'll function differently. It'll probably be a case of there will be a normie internet for people who don't mind being abused, and then there'll be the internet of everyone under, 35 or 40 years old. They'll be using something different. And so it'll become a relic. The current internet, even social media, will become a relic of what it is currently.
corporate firms attempt to take over YouTube and squeeze out the small independent content creators, the clear alternatives are alt tech sites such as YouTube and BitChute. The alternative to Facebook is Minds, www.minds.com.